public to my advertisement.
Dwayne? Call the meeting to order. We'd all stand and address the flag. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please note that all the council is here and our town attorney and various representatives from Bun Construction and Choice One Engineering. I want to welcome everyone here tonight. This is a special meeting of the council. It's a one agenda item. We're going to be talking about the sewer project specifically in what is known as the Schwartz Edition, bounded by Winchester Street, Harrison Street, Richfield Lane, and Bristol Lane. 9 people that are, families that are involved with that. Nine houses that are involved with that. I know there's some questions. What happened is we ran into a problem with that existing sewer line. It's non-repairable, so we have to look at options as to what's going to be the easiest fix and the least intrusive fix. They've come up with some ideas, so I'm going to turn it over to Alan and Ryan from the construction firm and our engineering representative, and let them explain to you what we're wanting to do.
So kind of getting some more details of several years ago, the line behind properties with camera, and from that camera process, do the impact case scenario and how we want to approach the situation with this. And since that time, over those 2 years, that line's deteriorated rapidly to the point where now they couldn't that stuff. Okay, how do we change this? We can't just line it. It's not opening for lining, so now it's a replacement. So what are the options we have on how to replace it? Obviously, this is a lot more impactful because it's in everybody's rear yards. There's a lot more going on with sheds, vegetation, gardens, and everything else alike. So we're trying to open up that discussion now on different options and alternatives that we may have in order to accommodate not just the property owners, but to ensure that this issue gets resolved. Most of you probably have seen a map. There's a couple different options we initially looked into. One, we were trying to route around some trees. The biggest thing with the trees is we need to stay outside even some of that drip area where those branches are. If we get into that root ball system, we're jeopardizing that tree, not just for the life of it, but more so when we get those high winds. There's too many houses that are in close proximity. We can't risk or run the risk of that tree being jeopardized and then falling on our property. That's something the town would potentially be liable for. So we were looking at alternatives and options to not only get away from those trees, but also mitigate other things. So there was a red and a blue option that we looked at to try to bring everything back to a different main and just abandon that main in place. Some additional conversations have been had with property owners. Some are okay with their trees being cut down. Others are okay with some of their sheds being moved. None of them are on foundations. We could look back at replacing that line package and back to where we were. There are some utilities in there, but basically we'd be excavating back over that line where it sits today. Some of that work's already been performed. There's already been a manual installed on the one end, so we'd basically just be connecting back those 2 pieces again. Unless there's some major item or component that we're missing, that may be your best solution. It's just going back over top of that. However, it'd be nice to get more feedback from the public and the property owners that live through there to ensure that we're not missing something. We don't live there, so we don't get to see everything every day. So, open to taking comments or concerns from them too, however we want to approach that stuff. But entertain questions from council as well.
Are there any property owners that have any real concerns, having seen the map and everything? To me, since Mr. Elwood has said we could take that big tree down, that eliminated one of the main obstacles of going back and just being less intrusive by following that line between the houses. The other options we're talking about, pretty good digging. Avoid that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, so if we accept that green option, property line would be in the red or those options. If we go down through the backyards and we're just excavating through basically the lawn areas, we're avoiding some of the restoration of the curb, the pavement, all that stuff that was just performed. So we're not cutting into the street there anymore. So, I mean, when we're talking about the restoration of yards, obviously we want to make sure that that's a little bit more fine tuned and that you guys are satisfied with that. So cost effect wise, it's probably in place. I mean, the other way we're running around all those houses with multiple lateral runs, so we're probably a little bit more linear foot pipe as well. Whereas if we're just going straight shot through those rear yards, we're limiting the pipe costs.
In other words, you're running from Harrison to Bristol, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Basically, yes, yes.
You're gonna come that way rather than go out to Winchester like they talked about.
So those red lines we're showing through Winchester, that gave us more options to route those pipes around where we needed them to be to avoid the vegetation or the, whatever may be in your rear yards. The green option, there's some things that are in the way, name of that tree that we are fearful of if we excavated too close to, that might jeopardize that root ball system, and then it's weak on one side, winds take it, and next thing you know, it's in a spot.
I don't know who owns that property where that tree is.
That was the.
Elwood.
Who?
John Elwood.
What do they say about the tree?
They're okay with it coming down. Yep, that's why we're in there, Rob.
Yeah, we don't want any surprises on this. We've already had enough with finding out what we did, and it's going to affect you guys. We want to try and make that impact as small as possible.
Well, we're gonna have a mess either way.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah, but we appreciate your guys' concerns and feedback with this now and even later after it's restored, when we want you guys to be satisfied with how those in as well.
Show of hands of property owners that are here tonight, just real quick, if you would. Oh, good, almost everybody's here. Good. Let's have another quick show of hands. What do you think? You like this idea of trying to be the least intrusive? Is that good for you guys?
Well, the least intrusive makes the most sense, because you can't look at just now, you gotta look at future years.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna be a disruption, but
Alan, you got any questions or comments?
I would just want to know how come there's, markings all up and down Richfield Lane where the gas lines are at. They planning on digging over there?
that's for bright speed.
That's a different group.
Oh, okay.
That's cable.
Okay, that might be
Bright
about 4 inches
speed
deep.
going to install fiber optics. And that's what that's about.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with this thing here.
I didn't know, you guys been doing sewer projects in the neighborhood and digging down way down and then right in front of my house across the street, we got, for the last month, they've had the yellow markings for the gas line. I had no idea what was going on.
You're not the only one that's confused.
Yeah, but when they mark that stuff, they ought to be doing something, so it ain't just in your dang way to mow yard.
Yeah, that in back there.
What he brought up about this Brightspeed deal, was there any knowledge that they were
coming now?
To be real honest with you, no.
I was told they're coming in the spring.
Well, they've already come to several neighborhoods, they've screwed our neighborhood all up. These guys did a wonderful job fixing the sewer when they were done. They evaporated everything, it looks nice, they did a wonderful job. These guys come in and drove right through the mud that they just fixed. So, when are they gonna come?
Well, I'll look into that.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
The other thing with that is they've cut the Brightspeed phone lines in our neighborhood. And there's multiple people back there that's not had any internet phone service since they showed up in Boardman. And that's like 7 days ago. I kicked them out of town.
I'll look into it and get back to you on that. Any other questions on the sewer project?
To me, it makes more sense to go ahead and go that straight route, you know, you got less pipe maintenance in the future. Go the other way, you got a lot more pipe to take care of in the future.
Go back in the corner, you got your hand up?
They took part of our fence down and put it up. It's not put back up together right at all. There's places it's not even connected to the post.
Okay.
One post, we can't even put a top on it because they put the post down too low.
What's your property address?
Or again, Bristol.
Yeah, they did not repair stuff like they said they would.
We were told it was just as good or better. It's not anywhere near.
Lady has a question here.
Yeah. Yes?
In our neighborhood, supposedly, the sewer project is done, and then is pulled out and left areas that are supposed to be seeded, and they're all mud right now. I just wonder when the seeding's gonna happen, if the seeding's gonna happen. Is there any compensation for shrubs and trees and road cutting and all the things that have happened in our neighborhood?
Gentleman in the back.
When is your bid?
When the weather permits.
Okay, 'cause
We've been working grading in as the rain permits, and then once the fine grading's done, then our landscaping contractor will come in and do
They could
the
do
seeding.
more to electric in Lakewood last year in the fall. They said, well, landscapers will be here within a couple of weeks. That's last fall.
Yeah, we're not like.
He'll be a problem.
Okay, just show up.
Fairly new to the lake.
Okay, well, good deal. I'm glad to hear that.
So that's what we've been working on. Obviously, April's been a very, very wet month. You know, some of us are already mowing our yards 2 and 3 times, which is very odd for April. So we've been working as the weather permits, and once the weather gets a little drier, ground conditions get a little drier, then we can get in and start seeding and mulching a lot of these areas.
Are they gonna do something with East Shore Road where they cut it out there, the roads just cut down this?
Yes, we're working on that too. Again, you can't do asphalt paving with rain. That's our biggest constraint is all this stuff has to happen in spring when it's raining. So we're dodging rain. That's our biggest issue.
Okay, so it's supposed to be sunny the next 4 or 5 days, so we can look at possibly something happening with it.
No. Probably next week. It's gotta dry out first
Can
before
we
we
put the plates back on and the barrels?
Yeah, just put the barrels on it. People don't know that it's cut like that.
It's this heat, dude. That heat. Ask him, he drives his golf cart back there, he can't even get through. I'm afraid there's an emergency back there. You know, you get fire trucks coming in or an ambulance, run somebody's head through the windshield or something.
Well, down.
Obviously, it's not been the ideal outcome or problems that we've had. It's typical problems you run into big projects like this. All I can do is, as council members, apologize. We're trying to get it remediated. It will be remediated before it's all over and done with. and hopefully everybody will be as satisfied as we can possibly make them. Other than that, I think we've heard your concerns tonight. Thank you. We have now the plan that we're going to go. We're going to get that on schedule and get started and get this thing wrapped up. One last question, Calvin?
Yeah, there on Winchester Road, when this stuff all gets done, is it up to the town or up to the construction company to raise them manholes up, because you're down that deep?
Everything's gonna be adjusted so it's flush grade.
They need raised.
Yeah.
Those concerns have already been noted.
When do you expect to start this?
So what part are you asking? What are you referring to?
The sewer project,
The
Blue line, right?
the new line.
Obviously, once I have an agreed to set of drawings showing me what I'm putting in, that's when I'm starting.
Get them to me and we'll get them signed.
How long will it approximately take?
Depends on how many utilities we come across. I know that one house on Bristol Drive, where we put that manhole in the backyard. That took us 2 weeks to do. And we had to hydrovac every bit of that.
They ain't done yet. Got a hole back there.
I understand that.
I know, I mean,
We couldn't get any heavy equipment back here to compact it, so we had to do it all by hand.
If they run that line through there, that hole's gonna be.
Probably twice as big, but this even like they did, they didn't do nothing to start with.
All I can do is ask for your patience and your understanding, and we'll get it done, we'll get it right. Yes.
Where the existing line is. Make sure it doesn't pop up from that.
They're all lying behind the house.
Yeah, I see it over there, make sure, because everything's going around.
There's no plan to head further south than that manhole now.
That's my question, thank you.
Okay, yeah, okay.
We live on Lake of the Woods, East Shore Drive, and one morning, a huge excavator with a big bucket and tank-like wheels came and just parked in our yard, tore it up, and I'm just like, there's gotta be a reason. I hope it's not a mistake, because 2 years earlier, we had 2 dump trucks come and dump 2 loads of dirt by mistake in our yard, had to be repaired. And so we got this yard nice and in order, and now this excavating thing comes out. A white line had been painted in our yard. We had no idea what was going on.
That might be part of the Bright Star.
No.
That's not, that ours? Okay, all right.
I found out later
All right.
it was Andy Yoder's equipment. The only thing I'm asking is, it would have been, if you would please let us know, when a big thing like that comes in your yard that you have just had repaired, you'd like to know, and I am truly thankful that it's fixed. I don't mind the huge mound, it's all gonna be, it's a thing, it'll be taken care of. But, the thing I'd like to bring to everyone's attention is that if we would be allowed to know in 2 days, day in advance, hey, we're gonna be in your yard, we're gonna do this, and that would be nice to know. I really appreciate that, and thank you for allowing me to voice this.
Noted, thank you. Anything else from the council? If not, I think we've taken care of our business for the evening.
Got another question.
Oh, okay, one more question.
I live on Holly Lane,
Okay,
and you guys came through there and tore up my driveway, my yard, it's full of mud. I'm wondering when that's gonna get fixed. My driveway's mud, completely mud, step out, step in mud, cracking in my house. You know when that's gonna get fixed?
What's the address?
111 Holly Lane.
Alan, anything on that? You can,
We're working on it as weather permits.
I have a comment, so if you guys dump any more stone on the street, put more construction barrels around the road both sides. One night I was coming home and turned the corner and the sun was shining at me. There were no construction barrels, it was hard to see the stone pile from the street because they were the same color. Well, there coming, the sun going down.
You shouldn't see any more stone piles already.
Well, they took the file away eventually, and some nights they put barrels in front of it so you could see it, but they didn't do it every night. And they're gonna be, what I'm talking about, they're gonna be digging there again, and they're putting more stone there at one part.
oh, yeah, clear in the back. Could you step in the room so we can hear you?
I just wanted to thank the construction company also because, I know when they were out on my road, they let my son come over with his little Tonka dump truck and use their excavator to put some dirt in it, and he just loved that. And, they also took like some trash out of, from the yard for me, apologizing how long it was taking. So just along with all the plans, I do wanna thank them for all that. And, also, the sewer project does move on. I know we had a sewer pipe collapse a little over a year ago at our place. So I'm assuming maybe it's probably due to just the pipes. But I just wanted to thank them for that.
Thank you. I think we'll stick around for a little bit, so if anybody has any questions, we can answer them individually. If not, being no further business coming before the board, we are adjourned.
I try to be thoughtful to
It's turning free for all, right?
Yeah, it's always going to do that. Any kind of public comment turns
the way he said that.
But I was pleased they were reasonably understanding.
I thought he stated it kind of funny in the beginning. I said, listen to that, because I never think about it. So when they checked on it,